Welcome back to the Anchored with Purpose podcast. On today's episode, we have Kristen Ledlow, who is a former NBA sideline reporter turned stay-at-home mom, and we are talking all things faith, listening to the call that God's putting on your heart, how hard it can be sometimes staying home, especially when you're an achiever, but talking about all of the beautiful pieces within. Let's dive in. Feeling lost, overwhelmed, like you're just barely holding it all together? Have you lost sight of who you are and what truly matters? Juggling a million things, wearing all of the hats, and feeling your identity slipping through your fingers? You're in the right place, friend. Welcome to the Anchored with Purpose podcast, where faith meets family and dreams become reality. I'm your host, Melissa Wilkinson, a Catholic, wife, mom of two, and keynote speaker on a mission to help you reignite your faith, find peace in the midst of chaos, and boldly pursue the dreams that God has placed on your heart. Each week, we'll dive into practical tips, inspiring stories, and faith-based strategies to help you build a daily faith practice, pursue your biggest dreams, and live a life filled with purpose and joy. So, if you're ready to strengthen your faith, nurture your family, and achieve your biggest dreams, you're right where you belong. Pop in your AirPods, grab your coffee, and let's get anchored with purpose together. Well, hey there, Kristen. Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today.
I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Of course. This is so fun. So I think we've got to share with the listeners how we met,
Yes.
because what a night that was. Like, goodness gracious. So it was at the YouVersion Bible app Beyond a Billion celebration, and you were the MC there.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up first thing because I just got in the mail yesterday. They made a coffee table book of like photos from the whole thing,
Oh my
and
gosh.
it's stunning. It is a hardcover book that I will put on a coffee table when I do not have toddlers.
Right.
Will not. It is a hardcover book that will be in the attic until my family knows how to take care of it. But I've been thinking so much about that night over the last 24 hours, just to stand there and celebrate a billion downloads of the Bible app, to know that we're in this time and space where there is a realistic shot of getting the word of God to the ends of the earth. It's so overwhelming to me.
Incredible. And that night, there was just so much emotion in that night, too. I mean, we could feel the Holy Spirit. I mean, we had talked about this afterwards, like both of us, like just the tears just
Yeah.
streaming down our faces.
It was like tangible, right?
Yes.
Just standing in there, and I kind of thought it was just me at first, like for a lot of reasons. One, because we kept saying, this is about a billion, but it's also about the one, it's about the one person. And I have covered the NBA for so many seasons, and the Thunder winning last season is one of the first NBA finals that I haven't been at in more than a decade. And to stand there on that court underneath a championship banner that I was not there for, but to celebrate the word going forth was, I was so overwhelmed. Like that again, I thought it was just me. But then when you get in the room and realize this is just the response, this is what it looks like when thousands and thousands of us show up to celebrate this, to worship. And I realized it's not just me, but I am the one. And a bunch of other ones are in here now feeling the same thing, and it was just overwhelming in the most beautiful way.
It was incredible. Now, I'd love for us to talk about your background and then how you got to be in this position, because I think you've got just such a cool story. So just share with a little bit about what that faith journey looked like to then getting to be the MC for Beyond a Billion.
Yeah. Oh goodness, I don't even know where to begin. I was raised in a home to know and pursue truth, and I'm so thankful for that, because I know that is not the story that so many believers share. But in college, I really came to know Jesus myself. I went to Southeastern University. I played basketball and volleyball there, and I majored in broadcasting communication, and I was all in on wanting to become a sports broadcaster and all in on wanting to get to know Jesus better. But I remember very specifically, especially my senior year, as it was getting closer to time to be done at school and move on into the real world that we've called it, thinking my closest girlfriends, all of them, want to be missionaries and worship leaders, and there's just so much eternal value in what they bring to the table, and thinking the thing that I want to do has none. And I was deeply convicted the final semester that I was at Southeastern that God is not only going to open these doors for me, but he's going to use this for his glory as well.
Yeah.
And I can skip a few steps and tell you I went started in local news and ended up on TNT and NBA TV and covering the league for more than a decade of my adult life. And especially in these last couple of seasons, just thinking, man, I really want more than anything to do this job, to do this thing, but to point everybody to Jesus. And to see what God has done now in this last like year and a half, since I haven't been doing that work that people knew me for, to see the doors that he's opened and to get to do the same kinds of things, to get to tell stories, to get to interview people, to get to host these large events, except I was about to say, except not in the same arena, but it was in the same
It
arena.
literally was.
See, that's what I'm saying. Again, I keep saying I'm overwhelmed, but really and truly, it feels like I don't want to rush past it. I want to stop and remember, like in the Old Testament, when God kept telling him, like, hey, stop right here, build a monument, don't forget what I did here. That's what I want to do. Like, just stop right here, build a monument, don't forget what God did here, because it is in the same arena. And I'm so thankful. And again, it brings it all full circle that college me was wondering how God could ever use this desire to keep yapping into a microphone and to watch him do it is just the most beautiful gift.
It's really incredible that on this podcast, we talk a lot about the different skills and the giftings that God has given us. And how do we take those and use those for his glory? And we know that Rick Warren told us in The Purpose Driven Life that God uses our past experiences to shape us. And Kristen, when I think of the way you've been shaped, right? Like you felt this call to broadcast journalism, even though you're like, I want to do it for God's glory, but I'm not sure how this is going to work out. But I feel this conviction, and you're doing it. And the next thing you know, you're helping to lead almost 9,000 people like in worship with, it was just what a beautiful transition of your skills.
I was
And
not
that was
singing,
all
by
that
the way. We should probably point
obedience.
that out so that they know I was
It
not
wasn't the
actually
singing. It
technically
wasn't the
leading them in worship.
singing. But you were, I should say, you
No,
were the one
thank
transitioning
you.
everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Having those conversations with people too. You got to do some beautiful interviews where, I mean, we were just like crying
Me
watching
too.
some of these
I had to like
interviews.
start dissociating at some points. I'm like, I just need to stop listening to this answer or else I'm going to burst into tears and make the whole night about me. Like, this is not what anybody wants.
But there was one at one part in the night where you had gotten a little choked up.
Yeah.
And you had said, I'm sorry, I'm just taking this all in, and I'm realizing that the last time I was here was for an NBA game, and now I get to be here and doing this for God.
Yeah.
Like,
I
how
just,
beautiful.
what keeps overwhelming me is how kind he is in the details. Like, to make it all unfold in such specific ways that you couldn't do anything but credit him for it.
Right.
Like, there are too many details that had to, like, there's no way I could have come up with this. There's no
Right.
way that I could have written a story as beautiful as the one that he has written. And to know that he sees me, that he sees the one, man, you really had not thought about it a ton in the last, I mean, I never want to get over it,
Well, it's been a
obviously.
few months now,
But
right? Like,
I'm really in the thick of it, mothering little ones. And so
that's
I'm kind of just on a daily basis, like drinking coffee any hour I'm
right.
awake and going from one thing to the next thing. And it wasn't
Right.
until last night that that book was sent to me that I started to really think back on it and really just like, don't forget.
Yeah,
Don't forget what God has done here. Don't forget that his track record is unbroken. He is batting 1,000 when it comes to faithfulness, and he can create a story with detail just so much more significant than I ever.
for sure. You know, Kristen, I feel like when you said the building the monument, and we know like there's no accidents, no coincidences. That monument was built, right? That book that was sent to you, and it was sent last night, like before this conversation.
Yeah. See, even that. Now I'm like, look at God, because if we had just jumped into this conversation and you start reminding me about something that happened back in November, now my
Right.
mom brain,
Right.
half of it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
But I just sat down last night, looked through every page, and recalled to mind what we did in that building that. And even inside, Bobby and his team and Life Church and YouVersion sent this in to my house. And inside there were those, do you remember the confettis that fell down that said the word goes
Yes.
forth? There was there were some of them from no. Again, that's
I
why I'm not going
guess.
on the coffee table until my
Till
children are
it's
significantly
safe.
older. Yeah,
Till
you are
it's
not
safe.
tearing this up. This is not confetti to throw at each other. But
Right.
to sit down and to remember it, and then to sit here and talk to you about it. Again, the timing. There's always so many things that if we look back, and what's wild is we don't actually even see but a fraction of the details that he's working on. We don't even see. We have to, like, on purpose remember over and over and over the most significant ones, but there are a million little miracles that we aren't privy to that he's working on our behalf every single day. And
For sure.
I'll never get over it.
It's incredible. And Kristen, when I think about too your story from broadcast journalism, I mean, you were rubbing elbows with the top in the NBA, right? Like you were on those sidelines, you got to be a part of that, and then you were obedient when you felt the call to stay home as a mom,
Well, thank you
right?
for saying that, but I feel like that's going to give me a little bit too much credit. Because obedience, I feel like should look like, yes, Lord, here is my yes. And I don't know the way, but I know the one who does, and I will walk in it. And that is not actually what happened here. What actually happened here is for several seasons after having my first son, I knew that the grace on my time there was running out. And I knew that I knew. And I got pregnant with my second son and went on maternity leave. And during that season, the network that I had worked for again more than a decade lost the rights to broadcast the NBA. And so it ended up not even really being, it's like, okay, so I gave you a chance to to listen and obey. Now there's nothing for you to go back to. So you don't even need to look back there. There's nothing back there. It's not like, oh, everybody's still going and I so humbly laid down my dreams for the life that I prayed for. I wish that I could say that was the reality. No, nobody else is there working anymore either. Like
Yeah.
and so it really was where is it? It's maybe in Ezekiel 2 and 3. And he says, like, so I went, but the Holy Spirit essentially grabbed me, like kicking and screaming, because it was to a stubborn headed group of people, like, hello, toddlers.
Right.
But I feel that so deeply, like this convicting call and still the hesitance, because like this is who I am. This is not just what I do. This is the majority of what makes up my identity. And so to walk away from it was likely never going to be my first choice. It was never going to be easy. And for it to have worked out the way that it did, it does feel like a lot of grace. It does feel like a lot of God's kindness.
Sometimes when we start feeling that tug, like, all right, God, you've
Yeah.
got something more. Sometimes there's a little bit of like a holy discontent, like, oh,
Yes.
this isn't as shiny as it used to be.
Mm.
Oh, this is harder
Discontent. I'm
than
going
it
to use
used
that.
to
Did you
be.
make that up?
No, I
Oh,
heard it somewhere and I've got like
you could have
two
just said
ways that I
yes.
use it.
I would have never known.
There's two ways that I use it. Like I use it for that because sometimes then God has to take it away from us for us
Oh,
to actually be okay. Like I had a conversation with a woman at a conference that I was just at, and she had started this beautiful business, but was also still working full time somewhere and just got fired from her job for being too Catholic, right? Which that's like a whole different story, right? So but I had said to her, I said, do you think that's God like making you like look to your business, right? Like God showing you like, hey, this is what's next for you. And if you just now trust in me and don't fight to go back there, because that would have been a fight to go back there. And same for you. You could have gone to another
that's
network. You could have
that's a
fought
great.
to
Yeah.
stay in that, but you took that and you were like, okay, God, all right, message
Yeah.
received. Message received. I'm going to focus on this season of my life and just be open, because
Yeah.
it would have not been too hard for you to fight in another network, right? You could have
Yeah,
gotten hired
you
anywhere.
know what? That's actually really encouraging for me to hear. I hadn't considered that maybe ever. And so that's really encouraging. Thank you. Like that could almost bring me to tears. Thank you. That's very encouraging to me because unfortunately, the majority of my obedience as an adult has come after a lot of disobedience or just like so many like, hey, this is not the way. Nope, this is not the way. Nope, this is not the way. Okay, now you got it.
Sometimes that's how we learn.
And so that was a really encouraging way for you to reframe that. And I'm probably going to take that from you and start saying that.
I'm so glad. No, that's so good.
No, that's a really beautiful way to reframe it.
It's something to think about. The other way I like to talk about holy discontent is when God stirs something in you and you see something like maybe a problem that you feel like, this really upsets me that this is happening. How can I fix this? How can I help with this? Right? Like an issue in the world, or, oh, I just feel on fire to do this and I'm not going to feel content until I do something about it. But I think holy discontent is such a good thing. It's how he stirs us up to
Beautiful.
do the next thing he's got for us.
If I were to write a memoir, that might be what it's called. Holy Discontent.
I'll write the
Because
forward.
thank you, because man, I've got chapter after chapter.
It's so like, it's just something too, I think we need to talk about as women. Like, our story isn't always perfect. It's full of twists and turns, and God
Yeah.
takes us on this journey, and it's
And
not
there
going
are
to be
so
a
many
straight path.
seasons also,
Yeah.
like in Ecclesiastes, there's a season for everything. There is a time for everything. My mom has always said to me, you can have it all. You just can't have it all at once.
Right.
Just not at the same time. You can, just not all at the same time. And that's such again, just a really powerful way to reframe it. To reframe the went this way and it was wrong, went this way and it was wrong, went this way. No, because look at where we are now.
God put you right
In the
where he
world.
wants you,
Right,
right?
yeah, that's
So
so good.
now you're able to be home with the boys. You're able
Yeah,
now
praise
to
God.
have these opportunities where, Kristen, I think if you were working that probably very hectic schedule you were working
Yeah.
before, you wouldn't have had time to do
No,
something like hosting Beyond a Billion.
there's no way because it happened like the second week of the NBA season.
Yeah.
I've thought about that so many times this year, sometimes at big events, but also even at small things, like at preschool graduation for us was last night. And I thought, you know what? For 10 solid years of my life, I was 100% of the time covering an NBA game on a Thursday night. I would never have been able to sit
Oh,
here and watch this happen. I was about to say watch this like monumental achievement, but it makes me think of
right.
like the incredible, the Incredibles when she's like, "You missed Dash's graduation." He's like, "It's not a graduation. He moved from first to second grade."
Right.
So that's what it was. However, the small things, because that's where life happens, is just on
Yes.
those Thursdays. The small things like that I get to be part of now. Just such a gift.
You're right where you're supposed to be now.
Thank you.
It's beautiful. And sometimes in motherhood, like, it can be so hard. And you and I chatted about that night too, about like, how do you go from shifting identities and shifting into motherhood? Like, my background was corporate. I was running a $30 million store. I had 200 employees. And then I went to be a stay-at-home mom. And I was
Yeah.
like, who am I?
Okay.
What am I supposed to do
Yes.
now? Right?
It's
Like,
so jarring. Oh, I'm so glad you said that because I've said it, but I'm almost ashamed at like how much I needed the applause. Like
uh
how much I needed to be doing work that people were recognizing is excellent, or even if not, like at least you're paying attention, even if it wasn't excellent, like at least there's feedback. And so much of what stay-at-home motherhood is like these hard and holy and entirely anonymous stretches of days that it's hard to reconcile. I hear him like, I love how I'm talking about the hard and holy and seemingly
and
anonymous moment, and here we are. But it really, goodness, it's jarring to go
Mhm.
from a role that so many people looked to, and you can relate to that, I know well,
Mhm.
to one that you sort of look around like, I guess I'm hoping that this will pay dividends in eternity, right?
Right.
Because nobody's really cheering this on, and it's harder than any work I did before.
Yeah.
But I also know that it matters significantly
Mhm.
more. And one truth that I've held on to that's been so valuable to me over these last couple of seasons, and I say seasons like I know a lot in Christian culture, people say seasons like seasons of life. I think of everything as a basketball season. That's what I'm referring to. I'm like, I've been sitting out the last couple of seasons. But the truth that we know so little about Jesus's childhood. We know like the couple of stories. We obviously know his birth, and we know he was left behind at the,
I was just thinking of that story.
but other than that, there's not much that we know, and he was mothered for
Mhm.
decades that we know very, very little about. And so to think that none of that was wasted, and so nothing here is wasted either, is it's a truth that I come back to over and over when days feel hard, but I know that they're holy.
It can be lonely sometimes too, doing the motherhood, right? Like,
Yeah.
we're home with the kids during the day. It can get lonely. It can be
No
hard.
adults really bounce stuff off of. You're the first adult I've spoken to today. It's fine.
That's how it goes. Like, sometimes my husband would get home from work and he's like, "How was your day?" And I'm like,
I don't even know.
"Really hard.
Yeah,
Like, I'm
and I don't
exhausted."
even know, or like, what have you been up to? And I'm like, I don't even know. What have I been up? I don't know.
Right.
It's like I can't even think. It's like
Uh,
how have the days felt so long and hard, and yet like I can't even think of what I've been doing.
I know. I
It's
can
like
it's like,
I'm
I
having to like
know we
show
went
for my work.
Yeah. We went to the gym this morning. I know we did that, and
Yeah,
we went for a walk this afternoon. In between,
I'm like,
this
I
is
don't
all,
right. It's
you know
yeah. And it's a weird and hard thing when so much of your work has been marked by achievement, by accomplishment, by
Mhm.
saying, okay, so here's this thing I worked on. All of you saw it. Here's the final product.
Yes.
Now you reward me.
Right.
This is like, here's the work that nobody's seeing.
Right.
There's no final product anytime soon.
Mhm.
I can't tell you, here's what I did today, and there's no reward coming right now.
Right.
And so it's a hard thing for a high achiever
Mm.
to really settle into it. It is a hard thing when that's the way you're wired. It's just
Mhm.
a hard thing to really settle into and to feel deeply content. And the reality of that and why it's hard for me is because I was not wired to achieve, and I like to say that I am wired and created for God. And
Mhm.
so, yeah, he's given me capacity to achieve things on big stages, but he has also called me to be home with my little ones while they're this little. And
Yes.
so, my desire for the applause is a selfish one because it's the same God who has called me as faithful and will do it.
So one of the things, and I can relate to this so much, Kristen, like when we went from being these achievers to staying home. And then sometimes we feel like, yes, we know this is what we've been called to do, but maybe I need a little bit something more, like a project, right? Like, or like a business or something, because like I have to be able to use my brain and my
Wow.
skills, right?
I'm like, just at me next time, girl. I feel that so deeply. I saw somebody post recently, what if you're actually called to stay at home with your children and not to start another business? And I felt like so called out. I'm like, oh, because I couldn't like wrap my head around this being enough, which is foolish. Because if God's called you to it, it's enough. It's more than enough. And yet I needed, especially in that first year home, to do this, 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 and this. And to be able to
Mhm.
say, when somebody asked me, oh, well, what are you up to now? I can say, "Ah, well, let me tell you." And it was all achievement related, right? It was like,
Mhm.
well, this is what I'm doing. And I'm also doing this, and I'm still doing this, and I'm still kind of keeping my foot in the door. Like I was not okay. And only in the last few months, and it's again several seasons, only in the last few months have just started saying when someone says, what are you up to? And the truth is, there are lots of things that I'm up to besides
Yeah.
just being home every single day. But only recently have I started to feel entirely content when someone says, what have you been up to lately? And I say, I am staying at home with my boys. And
Yes.
like just letting that be okay. Not having to, I don't have to plug the brand. I don't have to tell you
Right.
that I bought and sold a gym. I don't have there's, I have to run through the list of, oh, well, I'm also this, I'm also this, and I'm also this. I'm not just that. Because
Right.
goodness, that's not just anything,
It's not just
right?
anything.
Like
It's
it's
a
such a
full-time job.
significant calling, and to downplay it was foolish on my end.
It's
But it
also
took a long
so
time.
hard though as an achiever.
Yes, it
Like
took a long time to feel comfortable like
it's it's so hard
yeah.
to like because sometimes you do feel like, okay, I just need to use this part of my brain or I
Yeah,
just
that's true
need to
too.
like put
Which,
these
again,
skills
to be fair,
to
I
work.
still am doing that. Yes. But what is also interesting is the things that I've pursued that have taken time away from my family or taken me out of my home have, like, failed spectacularly as of late. It's, like, a
Interesting.
really wild thing that, like, the things that have really worked out are the things that I have not been striving for. It's, like, things
Oh,
that he just said in my lap,
mhm.
"Okay, also this. You can do this."
Yes. So one of the things that you said that really stuck out to me was that the things that you were white knuckling, right? The things you were striving for were the things that God was like, this isn't for you.
Yeah.
It's taking you away from the family. What were maybe what's one of those things where he put it in your lap and he's like, this, Kristen, this
Yeah.
is what I want you to
Well,
do.
Beyond a Billion is one of them. Every single role that I've had in the last year and a half, either on television, on a stage, or into a microphone, has not been something that I sought out.
Interesting.
100% of it. And throughout the entirety of my career, just because of the nature of it, you have to pursue these things, right? You have to
Yeah.
reach out and say, "Oh, that's something I'm interested in. That show, I want to audition for that." 100% of it has come to me. Not one single time have I
Wow.
sought it out, have I looked for it, have I said, "Oh, pitch me for that." Not once.
Wow.
And so every single thing that has come my way has felt like, okay, am I using my gifts for God's glory? Is this good for my family? Is this good for those who are listening to it? And if so, yeah, then let's go. That's been a really hard distinction for me to make because again, I can white knuckle something and make it feel like it's within God's will, right?
Right.
It's like, well, it's
Sure.
it's all taken care of. It's all under control. And so it's like, how can this be wrong? Because
Right.
it's not
Right.
necessarily what's right and what's wrong. It's like, what right now does God have for you in this particular moment? And so that again, that's been a hard distinction for me to make. And I'm not saying that we never should we work for anything or try and pitch
Right.
ourselves or try and, push to achieve the next whatever it is. But I knew it was a personal conviction that I was not meant to be pursuing these roles right now.
Yeah.
And every single one has just fallen in my lap.
That's incredible.
And I
That's
think God knew since, he created my head, so he knows it's hard. He knew it had to be that way.
oh my gosh, I love that. Well, and that's you like taking a look at these opportunities that he's giving you and saying, "Yes, Lord. Yes, I
Yeah.
will do this.
Yeah.
Yes, if this is from you, I will do this." And
Yeah.
I just think it's beautiful
And
that
it's so
he's giving you
freeing to
this.
talk into a microphone and not represent anybody but myself and him.
Yes.
There's no one to answer to but him. Like, I've felt more like myself and more free in these roles than in the decade combined. I'm just so thankful. I really, really am.
Well, I think back to Kristen when you graduated and you were like, I want to be doing this. I want to be in a microphone. And now, but you
Uh-huh.
also wanted to be doing for the kingdom. And now,
Yeah.
like, God has made that happen. Like, he paved the way
Yeah.
so that you could do this. And
And
now,
you know what's really
anybody,
cool also? Like, another one of those details that it's like, "Oh, hey, don't forget this," is one of the specific prayers that I prayed my senior year in college, again, before branching out into the real world, was that, like, "God, I know there is no greater cause than getting your word to the ends of the earth. I know that. So if my only role as a sports broadcaster is to make a bunch of money and to pay for people to do that, I'll do that. If it's to
yeah.
send the missionaries, I'll send them. If it's to pay for the translations, I'll pay for it. But he took it one further and set me inside of an NBA arena and I can't even stand it. I can't even, like,
Oh my
because that is
gosh.
because the most close to my heart is getting
Yes.
the word of God in every hand. Like, at least let them decide, right? Get the word of God
Yes.
in every hand and let them decide. But they can't know if they don't hear. And so
Right.
nothing has been more valuable to me. And so to get to do that, like, it's too
Oh
much.
my
Man.
gosh.
It's just
That's
too much.
incredible. It's really beautiful. And when I think of the people who like got to know you over the last 10 years who have been following you and now they get to see you like sharing about the word of God, that's evangelism to its core, right? Like they're like, oh, Kristen, she's fun. I love her, right? Like, oh, Kristen's talking about God. Oh, this is okay. Like people
To be
who
fair, I
maybe
kind of
wouldn't have thought of
always
that.
was yapping about Jesus. I just couldn't do it on television. So it's not entirely new. But yeah, it is a cool thing to think God called me to these specific spaces with these ears listening and could use this to reach them, you know? And I'm sorry, I tried to light myself well to like for your broadcast, but the light has died. So now we're just
It's
natural lighting
okay.
from the
We get to
window.
see the natural lighting. It's beautiful. We get to see
It
I
died.
love the scarf so much. It's
Thank
so
you.
pretty.
I
The
got it from
teal,
Amazon and I
I
used
just
it
love
on
it.
dirty hair days. I'm trying to step up my dirty hair days, you know? I have a
I
lot of
feel
dirty
that.
hair days.
Oh my
And I'm
gosh,
like,
same girl. I wash like twice a week. That's
I
it.
yes. Your hair is like really thick and beautiful, so it probably lasts longer. I
Thank
have
you.
no real good reason to be doing what I'm doing over here. So I'm just trying to like up my dirty hair days. Like, okay.
It's elevated. It's
Yes, that's what
elevated.
I'm trying to
I
do.
love it.
It's an elevated slob kebab, but you know, she's elevated nonetheless.
I love it. Mom life.
Yes, you get it.
Well, Kristen, if people want to see what you're up to and follow you and find out,
Yeah.
are you going to share what your brand is? You've mentioned it a little
Yeah.
bit.
And that's what's funny is like I wrap it all up with, but by the way, I did start a business. So that advice was not specific to me. No, but I did launch a children's clothing line that's very close to my heart because it was inspired by the birth of my firstborn son, but also combines everything I've loved about being a sports broadcaster for the last decade of my life, now more than a decade of my life. It's called Positionless by Kristen Ledlow. That's where you can find me online, also just at Kristen Ledlow on everything. And it's all made in the US. It's all sustainable. It's all ethically sourced. It's all like I've seen it from start to finish. I know where the fabrics come from. I know every single person that puts their hands on it. And I know that when you get it, it's going to be the absolute best stuff. And I know that I sound like I'm selling it right now. But one of the things that like was really valuable to me when I did this was like, I can't do a poor version of whatever it is that I'm doing. Like I have only worked in excellence and I want that to continue here. And if there's going to be some clothing hanging in my son's closet that has his mom's name on it, it should be the
Mhm.
best version.
Yeah.
And it should be coming from a place where people are taken care of because of it, you know? And so anyway, again, I didn't mean it to sound too salesy. I just wanted to say like, this to me has been such just a beautiful from conception to like final product, just such a beautiful journey because it has given me a little taste of like, this is what you did before. This is what you're
Yes.
doing now. But like who you are is a storyteller and a creator and called to walk in excellence no matter what it is that you're doing. And so it's been a really sweet thing to get to do that and to get to be home and do it.
Yes. Well, and it's like one more connection point with your kids too. Like I mean, the clothes, first of all, they look so comfy. Every time I see one of the ads, I'm like, I wish my kids were little enough for this,
I
mom.
know. I was about to ask. I
Where
was
was
like,
this when
where?
my kids
How
were
are
that
you?
age?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
They're too big for it, unfortunately. But I
Yeah.
loved it. I remember I saw one of the ads and I just thought this was genius because as a mom who was like constantly changing clothes out like every year for the size, like
See, you
that
get it. You
this
get the
lasts
vision.
for like this is going to get you from like year to year. You're not going to have to replace every single season. I loved that.
I love you for understanding. You see the
I
vision
get that.
because I realize like all that has to fit is like their wrists, their
Right.
ankles, their waist. And then in the middle, why are we not putting a ton of extra fabric? So it looks so cute and like oversized and like they look very chic and in, but also like they can wear the same size, the same stuff for 2, sometimes 3
Yeah.
years, which means you're buying the best stuff and it's lasting and they're not growing it immediately. And so I just, that all of it was, I mean, again, it was kind of, it was birthed out of, oh, wow, I'm a little bit restless at home. What do I do? But also
Yeah.
out of like being a mom and seeing what is it that's working here in their closets and what
Right.
is not. And
Yes.
so I've tried to do you moms proud.
Well, I'll tell you, for all of the moms that are listening, we're definitely putting the link to that in the show
Thank
notes so
you.
that way you can check it out. Because again, I'm looking and I'm like, oh, maybe my little nephews, maybe I need to
Thank
like
you.
look for them because it
I
looks
can
so
send it to
comfy
them.
too.
Don't you worry about that. You just send me the address.
Oh my gosh. Well, Kristen, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing so authentically. I think that's one of the things that makes you so special is
Oh,
that you are not afraid just to be truly authentic and just share the good and the parts that maybe like, oh, this isn't as shiny, but I'm just going to tell you how it is because as women, we don't have all shiny parts, right? Like there's good with the struggle. And
mhm.
thank you for sharing all of it today.
Oh,
I
thank
really
you. And that was
appreciate
a
that.
beautiful reframing of my like clear disobedience. A beautiful reframing. Yeah. Not all shiny. Yes. That's what I'm going to call it from now on. But
Not all
thank
shiny, and it
you.
was wholly discontent. Remember,
Yes.
like
Oh,
it's all good.
what do you mean remember, girl? I'm writing a memoir as we speak. Thank you.
I love it. I love it. Well, Kristen, thank you again. Thanks for pouring into this community.
Thank you for having
And
me.
to everyone listening, thank you so much. Stay anchored with purpose. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Anchored with Purpose podcast. I hope you're leaving inspired, encouraged, and ready to take action on your biggest dreams. If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a moment to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with another friend who needs some encouragement. Your support helps us reach more women just like you who are seeking to live a life anchored in faith, family, and purpose. And don't forget to join the Anchored with Purpose tribe on Facebook, where we continue the conversation and to support each other in living out our God-given dreams. Until next time, remember, you are loved, you are chosen, and you have what it takes to achieve your biggest dreams.